You guys want you want to review the current event that he talked about? I know you guys, a couple of you went to the extra excuse me, the extra credit event. Do you guys remember what that was about?
Well, I didn't go to the extra credit event, but I do remember what the comic was. It was like Trump, like, I don't know, like, well, anyways, he was just like there, and then he was like on his phone, like texting, and it like posting stuff on Twitter, and it was talking about like the Hamilton play, and then it talked about like people, like 1 million illegal voters, and then it had like the Twitter like bird like
coming out of his head.
Yeah, saying that he's like cuckoo.
So. What was the point of that op-ed?
Saying that he's crazy.
Well, because what he's saying is what he's saying crazy, or is it unpresidential?
What's unpresidential, but at the same time, he's taking it to social media. Like, we've never seen a president that uses Twitter, a president-elect, because he's barely, not yet a president, but
yeah.
We haven't seen someone that's going to be our president use Twitter so much the way he does.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because we have an expectation at this point of like what we've seen from like Obama's use of Twitter and everything. Just very objective.
And then like and then I remember it was like we said how what was I just gonna say? Oh yeah, how like some of the things I was saying like weren't like factual. I remember that. It was like like he kind of just said that like I don't know if you're trying to
go for it. It's because we're all lagging. Okay. So I'm pretty sure you're probably like a second off to me. So then you think I'm interrupting you, and then Vanessa is probably like 2 seconds off because she pauses too. So we're just kind of like,
Okay.
Go for it, Camille.
Okay, so what was it? Oh yeah, and so basically, so like some of the things he's like, well, a lot of the things he's saying are like not true, and like the 1 million like immigrants who are like, or who are voting, like illegal immigrants. What did he said? 1 million. We don't even know if that like that's true. Like he just said,
just completely unfactual.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just speaking. He's basically just like speaking based off of rumors, and he's taking it to something that so many Americans use. I think the only time that I ever see like something that goes that President Obama would say that would put on Twitter would be like when something happens that it wants to go massive, like, my condolences go out to blah blah blah. Like that's when I've seen a president use it to kind of just basically a mass shootout and just sends it all out for everybody to see. That, and this guy just uses it to speak and put stuff like that.
Yeah, and then remember that even still, his truthful approval rating is higher than Hillary Clinton. People think he's more truthful than she is still. Even though he's been fact-checked multiple times and proven that he is a lot less truthful than she is.
And then also like to add to that, like he hasn't even like released he hadn't even released his like tax returns. Like
still hasn't.
Still hasn't. And I'm like, what? How do you see this guy as being truthful?
It just has to do with people being biased.
And remember the reference from the Ostrich Politics article with Earl Long, the governor from Louisiana? It was just like, tell him old Earl lied.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
A consistent liar is a consistent well, I guess you can consistently expect a liar to lie.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, I forgot, like, I don't know why, but that reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean. I think, like, there was, like, a line where it was, like, you can always trust a pirate to, like, steal from you, but you would never know about, like, a Navyman and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of think it's kind of that same concept. You know a crook is gonna try to cheat you.
Yeah.
If you don't know if they're really for your good intentions or not, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Do you trust a crook or do you trust a possible crook, I guess?
Hmm.
Somebody tell me. Is audio working?
Shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I just think, like, yeah, it's working, Trina.
Oh, okay.
I think the whole situation with okay. So I think the whole situation with the whole, like, the Trump, it's probably just all of our internets. Okay, guys, you're good now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, everybody's lagged for like 2 seconds. But I think it has to do with just people, it's just think of it every single, like, an everyday experience. If someone, for example, someone that voted for Trump and all this is coming, like, all of this, you know, they really do believe he's truthful, and then say evidence comes out, but they still believe him. It's just kind of like, think about a person that they just don't want to feel like, okay, well, I voted for a liar. They just don't want to accept that fact. So they kind of just stick to their biased side, or they just try not to dig deep for the truth because they don't want to feel that thing where, oh crap, I fucked up. I wouldn't. And excuse my language.
Oh no, I mean I think we've gone well past the fuck and swear range multiple times in this class, so no worries. I don't give a fuck.
But yeah, I think that's just what it is. People just like Trump, he's speaking out of his behind, and people are following him. And people, even if he releases his tax return thing, there's still going to be people who believe that he's more truthful than Hillary, just because they just don't want to accept he's wrong, or they're wrong, or they chose a crappy ass president. That's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be, when he screws up, there is going to be a lot of denial and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I'm not hopeful for things, but
regardless, it would have still been the same. Because
can you repeat that, Betty?
I was going to say, regardless of what happened, like, regardless of, we had this scenario and we had a great candidate and it was a great person, and something came out that was kind of like, oh my God, it doesn't seem like this guy would do it, and there's clear evidence of it. I think just people would just brush it off.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind
I
of
think
part of our
this is how it's going to be always.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We just kind of learn to live with it.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember everything that happened with, like, Bill Cosby, for example?
No.
Kind of.
So, like, I think a year or so ago, it came out that Bill Cosby had been sexually abusive to women and stuff like that, and took advantage of them, like date rape and stuff like that, because of his position as a celebrity. And a lot of people, especially people that worked with him, came out trying to be like, oh no, you know, Bill is a good guy, he would never do this. And I think kind of it's that whole like, oh well, this person we've put onto this pedestal, because, you know, Bill Cosby was kind of like a very much a father figure during like the 80s and stuff like that with the Cosby Show. I know some of you guys might be too young for this, but I think definitely for a lot of people it was very shocking to see him be this complete other side. Because, I mean, when you think of a father figure, you don't think of rapist. And so, I I think that it's part of our culture to like want to cling on to the pedestal that we put people on.
Definitely, no, yeah, definitely. It's just like we see it all the time, and like for example, a movie. I can't think of a movie right now, but we always see that scenario where even if like they're getting thrown into jail, there's like, no, he would never do that. It's like he's getting thrown into jail. Like they're not gonna throw him into jail for no reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely something that we're gonna have to see turn out in the next couple months to year or so. Brace yourselves, I guess.
Is my mic only working if I take those headphones off?
Oh, no, I can hear you now. So.
That's weird. Headphone doesn't work.
I don't know. But, so that was kind of the op-ed cartoon, and then we kind of segued into the skills that are needed for a president, right? Do you guys remember, do you have that slide written down in your notes?
Yep.
Yeah.
The first one was like public relations.
And,
Yeah, public relations.
so, why would a president need public relations?
What I wrote down,
Go for it.
okay. One of the main points he said was like to sell his ideas to the public. Like, if he wanted to pass something, you know, like tell the public, and then like the president, yeah, I'm talking about the president when I say his. So sell the ideas to the public so that the public, like, knows, like, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, like, I mean, President Obama kind of had to sell Obamacare to the American public to get them to pass it and everything. And if he wasn't so charismatic, I don't know if that would have been able to happen.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess, let's say, if it totally wasn't unconstitutional, Trump's wanting to label Muslims. Now, that wouldn't go over as far as...
Oh, heck no.
Because that is a huge section of our population. And
that's just the...
Right?
I would not, like, I seriously do think if it gets to that point, I'm out of this country, because that is way out of my limit.
Yep. But
That would make me angry, because I have friends. It's like now, especially, it's like, you know, I come from a small town, and I wasn't presented with a lot of culture, and now that I'm here, it's like I see these people day to day, different faces every single day. Like I can't imagine them having a damn number or something on them. It's like they're not a damn number. They're people.
Yeah.
Yep. And see, public relations nightmare.
And you know, it was interesting because like before, like when I was spoke about what we thought was public relations, I just talked about how I gave an example of like, you know, just public relations being able to just like, you know, trade, just getting stuff from other countries. And I gave the example of, I think like just the help from other countries, because I said how when Hurricane Katrina hit, like, Mexico sent in the military and they brought a whole bunch of food for the people. And I said how I think if something like that would happen today, I don't think we would get that help just like that from the country because of the face of our nation right now.
Yeah, and I was going to say I really liked that example that you gave during the lecture, because I think it's a really important part of being a president is the public relations between different heads of countries. And he's already insulted several heads of countries. And that does not bode well.
Yeah.
It's weird. And then like he spoke. The Professor Friedman spoke about the whole Bush and 9/11 and how everybody's in chaos, everybody was in fear. But then like his speech gave some comfort back to the people, addressing the people. And he made a good point. He actually read my mind. Like I was gonna say that before Friedman said, but he spoke, chose the people first. He said that do we think that if Trump would give that same speech, if it would occurred, if he was basically the president back then, would he get the same outcome or give the same feeling to the public that Bush did? It's like definitely not.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it would be much more about warmongering.
I think so.
And like,
it's on.
These people attacked us, and now we need to protect ourselves. Rather than, but
that would scare me more.
Like, we need to go attack these people.
That would scare me way more than. Heck no. It's just like, dude, just leave it.
A state of emergency, rather than like, okay, well, it's time to hunker down.
Yeah. And also, I would say like, I feel like if it would depend on when he said the speech, like if it was like in the beginning of his presidency, I feel like people wouldn't like be comforted as much, but like maybe a little bit later on, like in the middle of his presidency or like later, towards the end, I feel like people would be a little bit more comforted because like they'd be kind of used to him. So
I agree with Camille. I agree with her, but at the same time, Vanessa has a really strong point with the whole idea that say Trump does a 360 and he turns out to be a hell of a president. He just doesn't say anything that he said, and he doesn't do the horrible things he said he is going to do. But just his personality, the way he is, he would definitely go through the let's attack rather than it's going to be okay.
And so it would probably go better, as Camille was saying later on in his presidency.
Yeah.
Trader, you want to say something?
I don't think his audio is working.
I don't know, because he raised his hand.
His audio is not working.
I think he probably just accidentally pressed the raise your hand button. But
is my audio working?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh. It's working.
Only because if I put in my headphones, I guess it doesn't let me use the mic or something. I've been talking this whole time. That's probably.
Oh, we haven't heard that.
I guess I was talking to myself this whole time.
You have.
But I guess I gotta figure out that. But I guess public relations. If we're still on that, I think that his understanding is that because since he was a private citizen for so long, maybe that it was his outreach to the world. And as a career politician, you try to go through the system and try to convene with the government because most presidents, at least I've seen, usually talk with the system through like the state of the union addresses and stuff like that. They don't really talk to the country directly,
and they have
very quite as often as Trump does. So that's probably a reason why that he's used to being a private citizen and not someone that's in government. Not an excuse or anything. I'm just saying that could be like a reason why he does it so frequently.
Oh, definitely, and that's why he kind of sees it as an okay platform to just speak all of his thoughts and stuff like that, rather than because he's not a career politician, so he's not considering about the long run of what he's saying, really, which is interesting.
Oh yeah,
of campaign, but even when Trump is done with the presidency, he's still going to be using Twitter. I don't think that's ever going to change unless Twitter bans him. But he creates too much publicity for them and traffic to their site, then why would they? So yeah, no, but I don't think that using that as a public relation tool is very wise, especially not without a PR team.
So the example from Tuesday that Professor Freeman was,
people make like that. So
sorry.
So
the sorry. So the example that Professor Freeman used in on Tuesday was like saying how the president should be kind of like a father figure. I was just gonna, because it was like the very end of the lecture and I didn't want to bring it up as much, but I personally feel like that's kind of an outdated concept because I felt like that was more prevalent when it came to like, say, either during a time of crisis, which is kind of weird because we've lived in relative peacetime for a couple decades now. Like I say relative peacetime because there hasn't been like I guess a threat at a national level.
War not on our borders.
I have a hard time arguing that for ISIS. I really do. I don't think it's a threat at a national level, but that may be just my opinion, but I feel like that was crap. So many people. I felt like that was a bigger problem back then. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I mean, and especially back when people weren't getting the same amount of education as they are now, people looked to politicians for a source of information and guidance in times of crises, especially during the world wars. I would say that FDR was definitely much more of a father figure type compared to Obama. I mean, Obama is our dad joke president rather than fireside talks. FDR. That was a little thing that he did back in World War II to over the radio to calm citizens down and stuff like that. Just a little tidbit to get that more context. And so, yeah, I definitely do think that kind of father figure role is changing, but the fact that we still do end up dealing with crises such as war and natural disaster, that the parental role of the president still, I think, remains, especially because of our kind of history of just calling them the founding fathers and such. I don't know if you have a counterpoint to that, or if any of you guys would like to.
I understand that kind of point of view because I guess it does ring true that, I mean, we still look for them because they were ones that do make a lot of they do have a lot of administrative power. I guess we see them like for President Obama. I kind of saw him as kind of like a dude, bro. Not that much, but I thought he was more like kind of friendly. He's kind of like more of I would say an allegory would be more like an uncle than maybe a father, because I mean, it was kind of weird seeing him as that.
He's more. You see him more as cool Uncle Barack rather than Dad Barack.
Yeah.
Uncle Joe and Uncle Barack in the White House.
Their memes are hilarious, by the way.
Oh my God, I love the memes. Memes give me life. My favorite is the one where he's like holding Pence's. He's holding Joe and Obama are holding hands, and the caption is just like, Joe's like, keep holding my hand, and Obama's like, why? I want to freak Pence out.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The Home Alone ones are just.
My favorite's kind of dorky, but I like the ones where it's like, I can't believe he would be late, and then he was all like, I gave him the wrong address, and he was like, he's our new president-elect, and then he's like, I don't give a fuck what they call him.
Yeah. Like the I switched out all the toiletries with travel size bottles. Why? He had tiny hands.
They're always capping on his hands.
He was the one who got insecure about them first.
So the one question I had was, oh, sorry, not the one question, but another question I had when it came to the third part of being like what it means to be a president, like the profession, I kind of see like that as the professional like thing is kind of being arguable because it really does depend on the point of view, and I didn't really understand what like, because there's different meanings, because for me I didn't really ever see Bush as being super professional. I mean, there are times where he is, but he's always been like, again, he'd never really been super serious unless it was like during 9/11, then he was serious, but most of the time he was just like that one time the guy threw a shoe at him and he just took it as a joke. This is a good example of that.
Yeah, and that's because Bush was always portrayed as the your buddy next door, the guy you go do some barbecue with at Labor Day weekend kind of thing, and so he was only professional in so much the fact that he had political and business background, right? But he was he was the 9-to-5 professional, but your buddy you could go play golf with and get an Arnold Palmer with. I can't speak. And so I think professionalism has kind of gone down as far as being a requirement, especially in this last election, because we saw that they wanted a different type of professional, and so it also might be the type of professional that they're trying to show. Does that kind of help answer your question, Trainer?
Sorry, because I keep having to remove and put back in the headphones.
It's okay, but so did you hear what I said at all?
Thank you. Yeah, it's just it was kind of odd when it come to that's the one thing I was kind of confused on, because I remember he was talking about like the Twitter picture of Donald Trump.
Also, I want to make I forgot to make one more point. Bush wasn't portrayed as oafish as he was until he got elected into office. So there's another thing. There's that.
So many people talking.
Don't worry about it, Trainer. Just speak, okay?
All right.
Now, after I said that little point, what did you want to follow up on to the professionalism?
Uh-huh. Sorry. Yeah. Ugh, God damn it. I don't like being in the well. I'm not the well, but the ark. It's so weird. I like the third floor. Be quieter.
Yeah. Okay, just what was do you want to continue with the professionalism point, or are you okay with moving on?
Oh no, yeah, I'm okay with going on. I just had that one question because of because of the Twitter picture, and I think Professor Freeman went on started talking about how odd he doesn't look like. Oh, it's the best. That's the best picture he was finding, was like making, I wouldn't say sly remarks, but it was like making funny remarks. And I was bringing the point that I think the past few presidents, with the exception of Obama, haven't really been as professional as because I feel like Obama has been a career politician a little bit longer than say Bush or I mean Clinton's kind of that middle ground. I don't know, it's weird with him, but
yeah, Yeah, but definitely since the 2000s, there's been a change in the kind of professionalism that we expect.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. That's the one problem. That's not the problem. That's the one question. That's the other question I had.
So that was your question?
Yeah, that was the question I had about professionalism. That's one of the points.
Okay. And so did you guys want to talk about the administrative skills that are necessary for a president?
I remember he said administrative, but I don't remember what he said about it.
So when you think of administrative, what do you think of?
I guess being in charge.
Yeah, how to run things. So if somebody has administrative experience, they're experienced in running things. So who do you think has the most, what would be the best administrative experience for somebody to become a president? Who has the most similar kind of job?
Being a governor of some sort, or being part of a state legislation.
Yeah, because they know where the bodies are buried, like
Definitely.
that article. And so, he made a distinction between the administrative skills of, let's say, the governor of Texas and the governor of Alaska. And remarked on, you remember that? Do you want to talk about that, Betty?
Yeah, it just definitely had to do with population, definitely, because the demand for stuff to do definitely is higher in a state that, like Texas, that has so much people. Whereas for Alaska, I'm sure they want stuff to be done as well, but at the same time, they're not as demanding, or more so, some stuff might not be as urgent as to a place like Texas that has multiple people possibly demanding different things, or possibly, giving feedback on the same thing. No, it should be done this way because this is better, and all that stuff. So a governor from a place like Texas has more viewpoints, has dealt with more, different mindsets, different opinions.
Mm-hmm. And they have kind of a bigger administration to deal with, because they have a larger population with larger needs.
Yep.
And so, and then he kind of remarked on the difference between the administrative skills of a politician and a businessman. And that's kind of what we're seeing now. Do you want to talk about that, Camille?
Yeah. So basically, like, a businessman, all they want, so they're working towards one goal, which is like a profit, making a profit. And so everyone, like all the employers and everyone who's working for the head, like CEO, are all working towards that one goal, and they don't want to do anything else, pretty much. And it's unlike what the government is, because the government, the people, for example, I'm using the business, but the citizens, which would be the employees, would all have different viewpoints, and they all want different things. They all want something different out of the presidency. And so, and the president has to try to wants one thing, but it's also hard to take in all the different opinions and everything. And it's
they have multiple goals.
Yeah, multiple goals.
And
so,
I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't remember. Okay, so what was I gonna say? Okay, I don't know what I was gonna say.
My bad. I
didn't know before that.
But yeah, those are really good points. You said you're muted, Betty.
I was talking to someone in my apartment.
Oh, okay. right, cool. Yeah, so public relations, administrative skills, professionalism, and then the last one was policy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the last one was policy.
Did we? I didn't get to that part of the lecture. Did you guys cover that much?
Barely.
Yeah, he said like one little tiny like sentence, and that was it.
All right. Okay. So, as far as policy that a person puts out during the campaign, do you think that president-elect should be held to that, or is it just what you say on the campaign trail?
I think it I mean, since it's an ever-changing government, because a lot of things pop up after somebody's in office. But I think that a majority of the things that there's some stick-to-itiveness that you kind of need, like a lot of a lot of the things that Obama said he at least attempted to do. And I think a lot of the things that Trump at least he still hasn't went into office yet. So I guess it's kind of like an open mic thing. You don't really know what's going to happen. But at least with an example with Obama, a lot of the stuff that even during the campaign trail, he at least attempted to do. So, I mean, that's what got you into office. I think it deserved to the people that you should at least attempt.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Like, for example, like Trump is like saying like all this like crazy, like all these like crazy things that I don't really think is gonna happen. So like, I remember like we said something like a long time ago before we found out he was gonna be president, and so. Man, I keep forgetting things today. So basically, oh gosh. So we said how, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay, so basically how everything, like a lot of things that he's saying is like kind of out there and like crazy, and how we like don't really expect it all to happen. Mm-hmm. And that the people who voted for him, like they voted for him, but they didn't really like believe that he was going to accomplish everything that he said in his campaign trail. So I feel like, yeah, like we shouldn't really expect like them to do what they're going to say in the campaign trail, because
I think that didn't Professor Freeman think like a lot of the neo-conservatives think that it's more of like a case of hyperbole or something like that.
Yeah, they do, and they think that that's just a hyperbolic rhetoric to get people going and stuff like that. And so another point of policy that I want to ask you guys, if it's important for a president to have, is it important to have foreign policy experience?
Yes.
I know there was an article about it. And so why is it important to have foreign policy experience?
I think it's more important to have more policy than experience, because I think later on when you learn later on, or if you already learned about government, there's a set agenda. I think it's for Congress, or I think one of the I'm sorry, I'm just not the best at it. It's one of the branches to have a set agenda. So when you give that policy, at least you give at least a preface or tentative agenda. And experience, though it makes you like have more more muscle memory, you know what to do. Having that plan there, I think, would be actually more beneficial in the long run, because at least the people can see what you're going to do, and if they don't want you to do, they can maybe guide you away from it.
Good point.
Yep.
And so, but and then another point is that actually a lot of presidents end up learning about foreign policy while in office because they have kind of a political background to adapt to foreign policy, and they have the expertise of the people in the State Department to support them. So that's where it kind of some people can debate of whether it's important to have completely down or if you can learn on the go. So we have 5 minutes left. Do you guys have any last questions that you wanted to go over with?
No, I think this discussion was pretty good.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of good stuff out. And we even got memes in. Oh, before I forget, I have a thing that you guys need to do for me.
Survey. Evaluation.
Yep. Let me get this link for you.
I've been getting a lot of those surveys, but I don't remember seeing one for this class.
No, mine it is one that I send out to you guys separately.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to our emails.
Yeah, you know what? I'll send it to your guys' emails.
All right, sounds good.
But
is it urgent?
So they're due tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
Why? Let me try to find this email that has it in. So, if you guys could do it tonight, that would be great.
Yep.
Okay. I'll get it done when I get home because right now my sex state is kind of weird. So.
Yeah, no problem. And I'll email it to you guys and just make sure you do it, please.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Feel better.
Thank you.
Hope you feel better.
I'll try to see you tomorrow.